Tell you right off the bat, I have no idea how this is going to go. When it comes to live streaming on YouTube or YouTube generally, not an area I've messed around a whole lot with, but um, like uh, a lot of people out there generally, but D&D players and DMs specifically, I have been loving. Um, Tinkering around with Midjourney and creating really compelling and beautiful character artwork. And what I what I hadn't seen, or what had kind of struggled to find a like clean and simple resource was, yo, these are great. This is great art. How are you getting there? Is there some sort of baseline, syntax or starting point that's helpful? And I was very, very, very much inspired by this resource, um, which is more, about like all these different keywords and styles and things that you can throw into Midjourney, and the comparisons are just wonderful. It's just laid out in such a an extremely helpful, practical way. And I thought, hey, how about what if we were to do this for D&D art specifically? And so that's what I started on here. I've put the link in the chat. Uh, and so far, I've only built out this characters page, but I could definitely see, kind of fleshing out settings and maps. So let me just talk through this really quick, show an example of where it worked quite well, and maybe we'll tinker around with one that may or may not go so well. So anyway, um, as a starting point for portraits by a particular D&D race, this is the prompt that I've been using. Um, I start off with a source image, um, then portrait D&D, enter the race, enter a handful of physical features. One thing that is seems to be so far true across the board is, you know, for the most part, the fewer keywords, the better. Um, a mistake that a lot of folks make is trying to just describe this, overly complicated scene of a silky skinned air Genesee on the dock of a space ship with the rings of Saturn in the background, and that usually is not going to go well. If you want to learn more about it, it's what they call the three basket problem, which is right now you cannot tell Midjourney, imagine three baskets, and in the first basket it's full of apples, the second basket is full of oranges, and the third basket is full of cherries. That makes perfect You would think that makes perfect sense, in terms of description. But the way that Midjourney works right now, you can't do that. It doesn't have the brain to make that sort. um, and so that is why, when you're thinking about these physical features, don't overdo it. Try to don't try to get every single detail right. Try to get the general vibe, and hopefully that will get you in a direction that you want to go. Then I put in Painterly, just because, if you wanted to explore, any of these other design styles and themes, then it would be very easy for you to say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to use this basic prompt, but instead of Painterly, I'm going to go with, brutalism or cubism or whatever. Atmosphere, by this, it could be a couple of different things, but just a handful of words. Should it be gritty and apocalyptic? Should it be soothing and ethereal? A couple of words there, followed by character art, and then if you wanted to put some sort of color on top of it. All right. So that is the basic prompt that I am working from. In order to create this resource that just provides a base level for all of these different D&D races, what I have done is to strip out the physical features, the atmosphere, and the color. And so all of these images were generated only with um, an image on the left and no image on the right, and then portrait, D&D, or a Kokra, painterly, character art, and I mean you do not have to this. I'm including this seed without getting into the details of what the software is doing. This just makes it so that it's if I wanted to come back here and revise, bits of this resource for whatever unknown reason in the future, it's going to provide me with a stable place from which to begin. So, um, so anyway, it's in the documentation. You do not need this seed, but let's see how could we use this resource um, with the additions that I described above. So let's take this halfling. I'm going to copy the link address that provides me with the image prompt, and then I said, so that's the image prompt portrait. I wanted it to be a male, so I changed it to D&D male halfling. Some features: blonde hair, painterly, and then the environment. I went with this vibrance feel. Character art, and then like with an emphasis on purple, and you can see like where we are. Um, and so, I could go back here and revise a handful of these, or just, re-roll it completely, to just, keep on going there. I am working on a one shot that includes Goliaths, who are descended from the subraces of giant. And so, for example, here we've got, portrait D&D Goliath. Features: I wanted a lip ring, which it didn't really do a good job of. A dumb face, messing around with that. Dimensional smoke, painterly character art, and then blue vibe for the smoke giant. Smoke Goliath, rather. Um, you can see what we get with a storm Goliath. Again, very similar. The same structure for the prompt. Portrait, D&D, insert race, insert a couple of features, something about the environment. Didn't put in a color here because it kind of pulled that in otherwise. So um, I'll go ahead and I think stop it there. Stop it there for now. This is working pretty darn effectively for me up to this point. Um, if you are familiar with GitHub and would like to, make some create a pull request to add a contribution to this resource, please do. If this is helpful, let me know. If you've got specific questions, let me know. And yeah, if this ends up being helpful for folks, then I'll do this on a more regular basis. All right.